probably now already. So, yeah, we should be live now. Alright, so hello everyone, welcome to this discussion. This is my channel, AndresRestart, where we talk about mostly Nintendo stuff on a weekly basis every Monday night. And we are joined today by Brandon from What About Nintendo. He's usually here every week. How are you doing, Brandon?
Doing great, ready for a great discussion.
We are also joined again by Will from Lil Will the Deity. You can say hi.
What's up, guys?
And
what's up, guys?
We are joined by a special guest, Chris from the Discord, or Blackstar Dude, sorry, from YouTube. The link to his channel, as well as everyone else, is in the description below. How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. And once again, we welcome you to the stream.
Yeah, so we have quite a bit to talk about, pretty much as usual for every week. And yeah, I mean, there's been a lot going on, guys. But, you know, just, I guess, how have your weeks been? What sort of games have you been playing? What's kind of going on with you guys?
Oh, man, it's just like last week. I played 2 games, like maybe 3 play sessions in total over 2 games. I've just been playing Halo. I played that twice for like an hour each time, just playing online with some friends. Halo 2 mostly, and then I played Mario Kart once, and that was it for gaming. Oh wait, no, that's not true. I played Gauntlet on my PC for about an hour, but that's all the gaming I've done the past like 2 weeks. So I'm thinking about getting back into like Breath of the Wild or something, or finishing Mario Odyssey, or doing some side quests in Xenoblade, pretty much anything. But I've been so busy with YouTube and stuff, just haven't had time. Plus I've been like exercising more and just doing general life stuff. So video games been on the back burner somehow. I don't even know how that happens, but yeah, I haven't been playing much.
Exactly.
How about you, Chris? What have you been playing lately?
As for me, I've been playing my Nintendo Switch a lot lately, as well as my Wii U and my PS3. On my Nintendo Switch, I've been playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Puyo Puyo Tetris, and that's pretty much it. Though recently I beat The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, even though the game was not that easy.
That's quite an accomplishment, actually.
Yeah, as for the Wii U, all I've been playing was Super Smash Bros. For Wii U, Paper Mario, and mostly my Wii games like Mario Kart Wii. And for the PS3, I've been playing Sonic the Fighters, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform, Jack and Daxter.
You've been going ham.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Will, how about you, buddy? Sorry to cut you off, Chris.
It's kind of like it's kind of the same situation with Brandon, man. It's just somehow wound up as a back burner for me. But I have been playing the Final Fantasy, the City NT beta, and I've been going ham with Sephiroth. I've been learning. I mean, that's pretty much it for me, man.
Okay. So, shout outs to Retro Potato and Monolith Gaming. Welcome to discussion. You guys are here early. Awesome. So, yeah, for me, I finally finished 100%ing Super Mario Odyssey. I don't know if you guys saw me on Twitter, but I literally was held back by the volleyball game in Super Mario Odyssey, and I could not get over 100 volleys in that game. And I literally got to a point where I was starting to do pretty well, and I didn't die, but I failed at 99. I literally screamed. I was so upset. But I did it shortly after that, and, you know, it was worth it. And some people ask me, oh, why don't you just go into co-op mode and just do the whole 2-player hack thing? And I was just like, that's cheating.
I didn't even think
to me, that's cheating, personally, because, like,
cheating, yeah.
Cause
it's not honorable.
I play things for difficulty, for challenge, and if I were to do it the easy way, that just wouldn't be any fun for me. So
that's surprising it took you so long, because I think I got over 100 like on my 4th try. I got like a 135 if I'm remembering right. It was way easier than the jump rope one.
Okay, the jump rope one.
Maybe I got
is
100.
easy.
I'm not sure.
The jump rope one is neither of them are easy. But
really,
they both took me some practice. But I 100% in Mario Odyssey.
The volleyball one's way easier because you just throw your hat.
Yeah, I did everything. I did everything in the game. So whatever is in the game, I did it. All right. And I'm probably going to stream it soon, depending on if people want to see it. But I'm thinking about starting a no capture run, which means you have to beat everything in the game without capturing stuff. So that basically leads to like some crazy platforming stuff, like, you know, impossible jump and then beyond that. Like, and that's the great thing about Mario Odyssey to me, is that you can really take advantage of the mechanics of all the platforming in Mario Odyssey to really find ways to do some pretty special stuff that you may not realize is even possible upon first glance. So, and aside from that, I've just been looking at a lot of Dragon Ball FighterZ gameplay. I'm really excited for that game. I can't wait to pick it up this Friday. I'm probably gonna wait for about a week to get Monster Hunter World, but I plan on getting both of those games. I'm pretty hyped for them.
Pretty good.
Yeah, none of you guys care.
I'm gonna wait for the PC version of Monster Hunter Worlds, to be honest.
I'm thinking about doing that as well.
Yeah. The only way I've heard of Monster Hunter is through Animal Crossing New Leaf. I think there's a village in that game where you can only get through the Welcome Amiibo update, and there's this little spit roast thing that goes so tasty when done.
Nice.
So, shout-outs to Cyndaquil and Tatsumi Kimishima. How you guys doing?
Welcome to the stream.
Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so, I mean, so no one else is hyped for Fighter Z. Is it just me? Am I the only big Dragon Ball fan here?
Okay,
And
I'm a big Dragon Ball fan, but the city, I'm not going to lie to you, man. The city just stole that away from me. Like, it's a crime how fast it took Dragon Ball FighterZ away from me.
Oh, you're just too into the city right now?
The city just took all my hype from that game.
Ah, man.
I tried to go back and watch the original series, but Crunchyroll didn't have it, so I don't really have a way of watching it unless I go and buy it on Blu-ray or something.
I will send you a link to a website where you can watch it high quality. So. Oh,
cool.
Yeah.
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 Send me that.
So yeah, actually, I mean, I'm not gonna talk about Dragon Ball here because, you know, we don't. Maybe I'll have someone else come on for Dragon Ball next week or something. I know Mikkel is actually really into Dragon Ball, so maybe I'll bring him on in a couple weeks to talk about that. Hello, Shay Makes. Is that how you pronounce it? Shay Makes or Shay Mikes? How you doing? So also Pop Slayer. How's it going, Bo? Bo. I said Bo, not bro. Wow. How's it going, bro? Yeah. So how about let's start talking about Switch sales, okay? So, Brandon, you were telling me you should probably talk about this before the discussion started. Basically, actually, do you want to talk about it, sort of to give, like, I guess, a little preview or, you know, advertisement for your channel and how you relay news?
I guess I can. Yeah.
You don't have to. I'm sorry I put you on the spot, but I feel like I do this. I do this like every week, so.
Sorry. Gosh, I don't self-advertise well. But yeah, of course. I'm What About Nintendo. I do What About Nintendo news. Gosh, I can't even talk.
Cover it.
Cover it. I'm gonna cover it.
Educate us. I want the information.
I'm gonna educate all you fools.
Sup, Snowman? How's it going, man?
So, this is something I like. If you know Japan, you know consoles, like, they don't sell really well compared to handhelds, and the games they don't sell as much. But like, even was surprised to me that it has been 7 years since a console game has reached over 2 million sales in Japan. The last time was Wii Party, and this time it's Splatoon 2, which kind of makes sense because Splatoon is huge in Japan. But I didn't realize, like, it's been that freaking long since a game sold that much. Like, 2 million is not that big. I mean, it's not bad. It's definitely not bad. Like, but it's not like some kind of huge marker. Like, I see 3DS games selling over 2 million like all the time, lifetime. So to see just like how far the console market in Japan has fallen, and see the Switch kind of bringing it back a bit, it's very interesting to me.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just kind of interesting how the Switch is just dominant in Japan, right? Like, it's so dominant in Japan that even though it's dominant in Japan, it still didn't get Monster Hunter World. So that wasn't, kind of, right? I mean,
It's Sony,
that's what people believe. But actually, Capcom did come out. There was an interview where they were asked, "Oh, why isn't Monster Hunter World coming on the Nintendo Switch?" And they had two reasons. One, because by the time they started development, they had little to no information on the Switch. It was literally 4 years ago. And at the time, that being the first reason, right, and that game takes a lot of resources and time to develop and optimize and such, but the second reason was that at the time they thought that the best fit was PS4 and Xbox One. And I think that's a really nice way of them saying that the Switch is not necessarily in that same feature set in terms of specs, but really it's the first point. When they started development for that game, Monster Hunter World, the Switch was, if whatever they knew about it was very little, if anything, 4 years ago. I mean, 4 years ago was basically still the beginning of like the Wii U era, right? And they probably weren't planning on bringing it out on Wii U, so I mean that makes sense. And it's just kind of one of those things where like only now developers are seeing how successful the Switch is. So it's going to take time for these big AAA games to come out on the Switch. So when a big AAA game is announced and people are like, oh, where's the Switch version? The truth is, we're still not there yet in terms of development cycles for the developers switching over resources and assets and getting their teams actually together to make games for the Switch. But I think within a year or two, we will be seeing consistent third-party support even for big, awesome games like Monster Hunter World or, say, Red Dead Redemption, just as an example. Do you guys agree with me?
Actually, I think...
What do you think, Will?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Okay.
Meant by, like, if they did say the Xbox would be a better fit thing, are definitely aiming for a more Western crowd with this Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like there is no more Western platform than Xbox. So I do think that's part of them with their marketing and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, it makes sense. So I did go off tangent. I meant to just talk about Switch's dominance in Japan, right? But basically the point I'm getting at here is that Switch's dominance in Japan and then their success in the US will eventually equate to games like Monster Hunter World being announced for the Switch consistently. I mean, it's just kind of one of those things where when the system is literally performing so well in Japan and other areas, how can they not? You just can't. I don't say they can't.
It's going to be really hard to ignore it.
Exactly.
Really hard to ignore it.
Yeah.
Topics like that are hard to avoid when they come around.
Mm-hmm. By the way, guys, how's the music in the stream? Is it too much? Is it too loud? Let me know. I wanted to include F-Zero at some point in the playlist. It's just playing now. But when I was creating a playlist for the discussion, I was a little concerned that F-Zero would be like too intense for the discussion. It would be not conducive for actual conversation instead of just like headbanging and stuff. But just let me know.
Metal.
Yeah, and there is a reason I did put F-Zero music, by the way, but we'll get to that later on in this discussion. I will point it out when we get there. So it'll be very obvious why I put F-Zero music in the discussion when we get there.
Nope.
Yeah, is there anything else we want to say about the Switch's sales in general or anything, Brandon, Will, Chris?
It should be no
I feel like the momentum's only going to keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a broken record at this point, right? Like, everyone, oh yeah, Switch is doing really well. Oh, they broke this record. Oh, they broke this record. Oh, they broke this record. Oh, they broke this record.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
Talk about massive repetition.
Love it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think they just said that they broke, I think it was the fastest selling in Canada now, and I think some European country too. Spain, that's what it was. Okay, yeah. So they're just
killing it.
It's not going to be long before, I mean, it's like almost every country now is just like, oh, they're the fastest selling this. Oh, it's the fastest selling that. Oh, it's this much better than the Wii U. Oh, it's this much better than the Wii. Like, it's kind of redundant, but yeah. As you were saying, for third parties, I definitely agree that it's going to take a little bit, but I don't think we have to wait too long before we start getting day and date releases. I think, or start late this year. We're going to start seeing that more consistently, and I think next year for sure we're going to see it very consistently, because, and if not, that's on the third-party company at that point, because Nintendo, they've had it out for a while. They've been giving out developer kits, so if you're not getting your games on there, you're losing money, and it's at that point.
Yeah,
it's the only person to blame is the company there, because I mean the Switch is doing great. It's been out for long enough at that point to where you can get your games on it, and it's. I mean, it's shown Doom and Wolfenstein are running on that, or we haven't seen Wolfenstein yet, but we've seen Doom and Skyrim. So I mean, there's no excuses at this point.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, you can get the game to run the system, and there's a lot. Yeah, it's broken record. But actually, I want to get to some of the chat first before we move on. One of the I'll get to it. So first off, Kimishima's telling me that the music is good in the stream, so that's good that Kimishima doesn't think it's terrible or annoying. So good. Snowman thinks Capcom will be Capcom. I mean, that is true. Capcom will be Capcom. I definitely agree there. But Sean from Monolith Gaming, check out his channel if you guys haven't, says this. It's a broken record, end quote, when talking about breaking records, question mark. Yeah, that's, yeah, I guess we do kind of sound like a broken record when we're talking about all the records that are being broken.
Payback.
Yeah.
Too many puns.
Tell the Switch. You gotta tell the Switch to stop doing so good, man.
Yeah, I realized that I could have delivered that pun much better, Sean. Definitely. But oh well, there's probably gonna be way more. I mean, next week we'll probably be, talking about breaking records in a very broken record fashion. So yeah. Anyways, let's kind of move on with the topics. Unless there's anything else you guys want to say or ask about Switch sales. Hello, Salim Mohammed. Yes, I like Pokemon. I love Pokemon.
Same here.
Yeah. Brandon hates Pokemon.
I like Pokemon. How dare you? That's such a lie. Bullcrap, man.
Is it not true?
Such lies, man. I mean, I love me some Pokemon Stadium, and I can't wait for that Pokemon Switch. So.
Neither can I.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see who pre-orders that first and buys it and plays it and puts in over 20 hours. If you don't put over 20 hours, I would say it's a bust. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an RPG. You have to put in a lot of time.
We'll see. I will challenge you to that.
Yeah.
I will challenge you to that.
You're just gonna leave it on while you sleep. Like, oh, I'm gonna prove Andres wrong. Just leave Pokemon Switch on over the night. I'll show him.
You never know.
No,
you have no.
The only way you can prove to me that you care about Pokemon is that if you have to beat me in a battle at some point.
That's never gonna happen.
Right.
This will be the fire of the century.
For the record, people, I used to compete like on a national and worlds level with Pokemon. Brandon doesn't play Pokemon, so the chances of him ever beating me are extremely low.
The only Pokemon game I've played is Pokemon Stadium.
Right, but the thing is, though, if you did beat me, that would definitely prove that you like Pokemon, because how else would you be able to get so good at it?
I'll tell you this: I'll beat the entire game.
Okay.
Maybe not 100%, but I'll fight all the.
Then those are the kind of hours you have to put in to prove your worth on Pokemon. Cyndaquil saying he has over 490 hours on Soul Silver. I have lots of friends that max out their clocks on Pokemon, and yeah, every Pokemon game I get usually gets over a couple hundred hours. Yeah. But that's because
I'll tell you, I probably won't play over 100 hours.
No, but that's probably because you probably won't get into it competitively. You'll probably just play the story and that's it. But even then, it's still kind of a big game. But let's move on. Let's move on, but we can get back to Pokemon later on. Probably, we'll see what happens. So let's talk about Nintendo Labo, right? Labo, is that the consensus here? Labo, not Labo, not Labo, not Lamo, not cardboard. Labo. Okay. Alright. So we're gonna talk about Nintendo Labo. Nintendo Labo was announced to us last week, and it was somewhat of a surprise, because the thing is, there were rumors, there was speculation, there were leakers saying that there was going to be some sort of announcement from Nintendo this week. Some sort of miniature, even smaller of an announcement than the Mini Direct. In a way, at least in terms of timing, it was. It was like a 3-minute trailer for Nintendo Labo. And we got an announcement that we were going to get something within 24 hours. Nintendo said, I'm paraphrasing here, but I'm pretty sure they said, we have an announcement to make at at Wednesday at 9 a.m. or whatever. And I think they basically said this is a non-gaming experience for kids and kids at heart. And they said we crafted a non-gaming experience for kids and kids at heart. And sure enough, we
A
saw
new way to play it.
Yeah,
A new
I
way to
believe
play.
it was as Will said,
a
new way to
crafted,
play.
crafted
Not
a new.
non-gaming.
Okay, they crafted a new way to play, or a new experience. I thought it was experience the word. I would, you know what? I would have to Google
New
it.
way to
Actually,
play.
okay,
It's new way to play.
all right.
Anyway, make, create, discover. Well, make, play,
Okay.
discover. That's the
Okay.
tagline.
So anyway, yeah, Nintendo Labo was shown out, and I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I mean, what are you guys' immediate impressions from Nintendo Labo?
May I go first?
Go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead.
As for me, I think it was a great idea for kids at heart, as you could, to put their imaginative minds to work. It's also a great way for future video game developers to learn how things work, because one day they might go and develop video games. And the games shown in the trailer were very fun. There was a fishing mini game, a piano mini game, one of those driving mini games, and there were some kids pretending to be a robot and punching things in sight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
also feel that.
no. I'll let you continue. I just want to say that Entertainment Gaming Daily. What's up, man? Yeah, he says it's still a game. Well, it comes with a cartridge. That is true. I guess it is still a game, right? Nintendo Labo is still a game for sure. But it's more than a game. But there is still a game that comes with the package. I'm sorry to cut you off, but Chris, you can go back to what you were saying. I just felt like I kind of added to it.
Yeah, you're fine. But as I was saying, the Nintendo Labo was going to inspire people to get into science and all other forms of engineering, as well as giving current video game developers for Nintendo Switch ideas that they can use for their next video game. The one that I can disagree with is the price. Like, it's the first Toy-Con kit is $70 plus tax, and the second one is $80 plus tax.
No, it's an interesting point, actually. I guess it kind of puts a question on the overall value of this product. And let me get to that. So actually, Kimishima's saying something that I think relates. So let me just read it out. So these are Tatsumi Kimishima's thoughts on Labo. I love it. It's unique, creative, and fun. But I have one problem. Are these games actually good? Will this just be 1-2 switch, but with cardboard? It needs to have depth so I don't get bored in 5 minutes. And the reason why I bring up what he just said in the chat is because we're talking about the pricing and the value of it, right, Chris? So Here's the thing. I've read that the game, I'm not sure how much gameplay and depth the actual cartridges, the games that come with the package are going to be worth in terms of like lasting appeal, but the building process is meant to be a prominent part of the experience of the cardboard. Like, I've read that some of the processes to build some of these cardboards, because the estimated time to build them takes a couple hours. So for each one, like the variety pack, you could be spending 4 to 5 hours, according to the estimates I've heard. If you count all five sets into the variety pack, you're going to spend a handful of hours just putting together all these different pieces of cardboard. So to me, it's almost like you're buying a puzzle. Like, imagine you go to Barnes & Nobles and you see some sort of weird 3D puzzle set, and you're going to pay $20-30 just to put that together. And once you put it together, that's it, right? So when you think about it like that, you're putting these pieces together, take a few hours. It's like part of the fun is building it. Like, it is meant to be something you build, but then you use it with your game, you play with it in your game, and I don't know how much that experience is going to be worth, but I do think that we should definitely consider that the construction process is a big part of the value here, for sure. Especially when we hear the estimates, that it takes a few hours to put these things together. It's not just, like plugging 5 things on top of each other and then calling it a day. It's not like hooking up a system where you plug it in, you throw away the cardboard and you're ready. No, this is a process. It's like putting together a puzzle, apparently.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely, the construction and just the building part of it is definitely a huge part of that. And just seeing how everything works. I mean, they have an entire section, or mode, I guess you could say, where you just look to see how everything works. And everything pretty much has something you can like the piano and the backpack for the robot game. They both have backs you can take off and see how everything works. And in the game itself, you can actually go and see like different renderings of how everything works. And so personally, I don't think that it's that much, like, I don't think the price is that unreasonable. Maybe a little bit high. Maybe I think they might have been $10 cheaper, maybe. But, I mean, you got to count, obviously, the value of the building. I mean, they said the piano alone takes 2 to 3 hours to build. And then even if every game only a couple of hours, you're still, with that on top of the building, you're probably getting 20, 30, maybe 40 hours of enjoyment out of this. So I don't think the price is too unreasonable for that, especially when all you get is the game. I mean, you don't get anything with it. This gives you an actual physical component, and these are like super complicated. They're not just, you know, some cardboard pieces you put together. These are like feats of cardboard engineering. They're almost insane when you look and see how everything works. So overall, I think the value is good. I don't think it's, maybe a little bit overpriced, but not too much. Not so much where I, you know, scoff at the price or think, oh, I'm not going to buy that because it's too expensive. So I don't think the price is that bad.
And now that you think about it, now that I think about it, the price sounds pretty justified. So, and thank you, Brandon, for raising some good points.
Yeah, sure.
Personally, like, I can see this being a thing that is continually supported, because I feel like if Nintendo sees like one person say, hey man, I don't think this is worth my money, I feel like that'll be worth it for them to be like, hey, make some more cardboard sets, or like put out some more patterns online and stuff. Like, I can see them continue to support this in the long run.
Oh, well, this is set up as a platform, not just as Nintendo Switch software. Like, they already have it labeled Toy-Con 1, Toy-Con 2. There was even actual different things, like a camera and like a lever and like a bird that aren't in the...
There were 8 different Toy-Cons that are not in a viable package.
There are more Toy-Cons planned. And for people who don't entirely understand what a Toy-Con is, so basically, from what I understand, a Toy-Con is an actual package. Like, it is like the robot kit is a Toy-Con. The variety set is a Toy-Con. And the Toy-Con...
there are 5 separate Toy-Cons.
Okay. So it is the cardboard that comes together, so I'm wrong there. But it's still labeled as Toy-Con 1, right? The entire variety pack.
Toy-Con Pack 1, yeah.
So there's definitely going to be a Toy-Con 3. There'll probably be a Toy-Con 4. And if this thing continues to sell, there's no reason not to come out with a Toy-Con 5, 6, 7, or 8, however long they can kick this out. And we
already know it's selling well. I mean, it was, what, number 4 on Amazon the day they announced it?
Yeah, that was crazy.
So, the pre-orders are already going good. Like this, we might have stock issues at this point. I'm not sure how easy it is to manufacture.
Well, the good news is that it is just cardboard.
It's just cardboard, so it'll probably be fine.
It's not like you have to get a whole bunch of light crystal displays ready to go, you know, like that.
It's just...
What were you saying, Will?
It's pretty funny because they did like say something. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, third parties can use this software to their... I don't know how do something like that, but I do like that Nintendo was like, hey man,
I think we'll see indies use it.
I
don't think we'll see like major third parties. Maybe like Ubisoft, they kind of like to do that.
I mean, indies are third party.
Well, hold on a sec. If this takes off, like say like a Wii Fit or like a Kinect or like a Skylanders, then
Kinect, hopefully.
The possibility.
Well, the Kinect did well, didn't it? Then on the 360, it was not the Xbox One, but the Kinect on the 360, it did pretty well.
It did well because it came with the system. Nobody bought it by itself, and nobody bought the games.
I thought the Kinect. We're talking about the 360, not the Xbox One. Well, it doesn't matter. The point is, Skylanders and Wii Fit did do well. Right, and basically those are things that you need to have the system for that were add-ons to the system, right? The Nintendo Labo is an add-on to the system, and it's kind of more like Skylanders than it is Wii Fit, because basically, you know, it's not like you buy one piece of hardware and you play one piece of game with it. You're buying multiple pieces that are add-on to different games, you know? It's different, but it's similar in the sense that they can take off. Kids are going to want to collect as much as they can, you know what I mean? And... It's huge, and if it takes off like that, like a Skylanders, it's great because it's not like it's just an IP of Spyro or something like that. It's cardboard that you could assign to any sort of kind of game you want. Like, I remember, I think I made a video about Nintendo Labo. I don't remember who it was, but they brought up Luigi's Mansion 3, and it made me think, oh, I'm not sure I would want this, and I'm not sure they were saying that, but just bringing up Luigi's Mansion during the conversation, I was just thinking, oh, like, they could theoretically create a Luigi's Mansion game that works with Nintendo Labo. Like, you create some sort of flashlight, like, it could work. I'm not saying I want it, but it is possible, and like developers could come up with stuff like that. But I think ultimately these kind of games aren't going to be meant for the hardcore gamer. I don't expect Nintendo to create a lot of games that use their IP with Nintendo Labo, so a little bit worried about that. But I'm just talking about like in terms of like the idea, it is possible, right? Like we even saw like that motorcycle piece that could theoretically work with Mario Kart. You know, like I wouldn't mind it if they added a DLC mode, like just like a little upper, a little bit of DLC where you could use that motorcycle set with Mario Kart, right? But not like paying for it. It would have to be free. But just stuff like that I wouldn't mind. But a full-on Nintendo IP would probably, I don't know.
I wouldn't want that unless it was like some super low tier, like Chibi Robo or something.
Yeah. Let me go
I
over.
definitely wouldn't want.
Let me go over the chat a little bit. I want to keep up with some of the things in the chat, and we'll continue. So Louis or Lewis, I'm not sure. Tell me which one is the right way. Lewis. I wish this Labo was an app that's part of the online service, and you just buy whatever type of cardboard you want. It's an interesting idea, but I think Nintendo will make more money the way they're doing it. So I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. Yeah, of course.
They're going to make a lot more money that way.
Nicholas, I'm sure you already know we're talking about Labo. Now,
if I can say something,
go ahead.
Having a Nintendo Labo app to buy stuff when you can just do it on the website is just too much. Like, if you were to buy, if you were to buy something on the site, then buy it on the app, then that would be at least $140 down the drain.
Yeah,
that's included.
Yeah. So, Jakar was saying that Toy-Con 3 will probably include the camera, bird, wheel, and pedal. I could see something like that, like a secondary variety pack. I could definitely see that. Maybe towards holiday season. Depending on how well it does. They may have an additional Toy-Con after that. We'll see. And then Entertainment Gaming Daily was correcting me, saying the Kinect did well in its first year only. After that, it was packed and started doing poorly. Yeah, okay, I guess that makes sense. Because I did remember at least it did something in the beginning. But, yeah, I guess, it didn't do well after that. Luis is joking about building the entire mansion out of cardboard for Luigi's Mansion on Nintendo Labo.
I'd like to point out Jakar Johnson. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. The prints will not be free online. That is something that I forget who reported that, but Nintendo came out and said that they're not doing that. That is not happening. So there will not be free cardboard prints to like make your own cardboard cutout versions of it online. That will not happen.
Yeah, there's been a bit of misinformation coming out. I think a lot of people are saying different things. I've seen a lot of people really joke around. Actually, that's what I want to talk about. The cardboard. I'm seeing lots of YouTubers, tons of people complain about the cardboard. Like, oh, you can tear apart cardboard. It's so flimsy. But I've heard reports that the cardboard that's coming with Nintendo Labo is actually pretty high quality cardboard. Like, yeah, you could probably still break it if you try to. But it's not, like, super flimsy either. It's not like, the same kind of cardboard you buy at UPS to pack away something. It's sturdy, from what I've seen, from what I've heard. So, I don't... there is definitely some stipulations there, because it's meant for kids. Kids destroy things. Kids throw things. Kids drop things. Kids pour juice on things. Kids spit all their food onto their Dr. Seuss book. Okay, I'm sorry. That's just a bad memory from when I was a kid. But, like, I've always held it against my little brother. Like, this is, like, one of the weirdest memories I had from as a little kid. Like, I was 4. He was, like, 1. And I had a Dr. Seuss book at the time. I was 4 years old, so bear with me. I thought it was cool, right? And I said cool.
Hey, Dr. Seuss is cool.
I said cool just as the F-Zero music started up, which is great timing. But like he just souped it up, man, and I was upset. I grabbed him like this, and I was like, I hate you. That I did not hurt my baby brother at the time. He's okay. But yeah, so
You did not scar him for life.
no, I didn't.
Hope-
But you know, kids do
hopefully-
stuff like that though. Kids destroy things, so I understand the fear here, and I actually think Nintendo's like, oh, if we make this out of cardboard, people will be buying lots of extras. This is gonna make us lots of money, you know. So there's that side of the argument, but I also think that from what I've heard, this is high quality cardboard. And there are other companies that sell pieces of cardboard that aren't even necessarily as high quality as this, and they sell it for a high price. I don't have any specific examples, but I've seen it. If anyone has an example, please bring it up in the comments below. You know.
I have an example.
Okay.
The freaking Google Cardboard, which is like the most basic, just normal cardboard ever. It's like $20 for that thing. I mean, it doesn't. It includes like little plastic lenses to give the VR effect, but other than that,
The VR isn't even that good.
it's like $20-25.
That's just lazy.
Yeah, actually, Entertainment Gaming Daily is saying it's not cheap lardboard. He's saying it's a $25 board at Hobby Lobby. I guess that's the equivalent. Okay.
Yep.
Nicholas Romero is saying
Honestly, kids will find a way to break anything.
Yes, kids will find a way to break anything. That is true.
So it doesn't really matter if it's cardboard.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
But-
Plus, I think if it was plastic, I don't think it would have as many parts. It'd be like more big pieces that would connect in a much less sophisticated way. Like, I don't even know how they would be able to do that properly. Like, the way they have it, like the keyboard, when you press a key down, it pops itself up because it's a flap. So when you push it down, it puts pressure and then it pops itself back up because it's a cardboard folded flap. Like, you couldn't do that with plastic. You'd have to make like some kind of spring mechanism for each key. Like, if it was plastic, this thing would be like $300. But talk about how expensive it is as cardboard. You seen how expensive Legos are? It's because they're made of plastic.
Lego ships go for like $200. Like, I saw this one guy on Twitter. He was like, OMG, if I had kids, I would get them Legos. And then I just look up like a pirated Lego set, and it's like $250.
Dude.
What Labo?
They're expensive.
Yeah. It's not even for like the super complicated ones. Like, it's just like, it's a house. It's like a model
$40.
home. It's like $300.
$40. Oh, what?
No, I'm talking model home, $200, $250.
Okay, so actually, here's the thing. You're right. Like, if you look at the variety pack, like, think about that in terms of Legos. Like, the amount of content in terms of construction you're getting from that variety pack is $70. That equivalent for Legos is probably a few $100. Maybe more than that.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. The only difference is you have to already have a Switch for it to work. And that, to me, is probably the more concerning part. It's not so much of the cardboard itself.
Yeah.
It's that if you have kids, you're going to have to let them use your Switch. Or get them their own Switch, which they will then have to probably replace. Because these pieces of cardboard, you're giving them to kids, so it encourages kids to use them, which is already a destructive thing in and of itself. But there's motion involved. Right? There's placement involved. And because it's cardboard, I can imagine there's going to be times when the cardboard gets warped. It doesn't hold the Joy-Cons as well. And over time, there's going to be situations where the Switch can be easily damaged by kids. Yeah. So I wonder how that's going to be handled. If maybe it won't be as bad as I'm thinking, or maybe there will be a lot of protective gear offered.
Honestly,
I
don't think it's going to be that bad.
I think I brought this up. What do you think, Will? I mean... or Brandon. We'll go first, then Brandon. First.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, man. Actually, I don't think it's gonna be that bad because in the actual reveal, it gave you this sort of air of, parents watch over your kids while there was a parent that took off that kid's backpack or just took off the back flap of that kid's backpack and stuff. Like, I don't think kids are gonna be able to build it all by themselves. So
for sure,
like. Heavily like, oh, look over your kids because obviously they can't build it by themselves and it's very sensitive, like $300 hardware plus the $80 hardware. So
yeah, I see this as a non-issue. First off, as Will, you made a great point. These kids can't put these things together. Have you seen how complicated they are? You'd have to be some genius kid to put that thing together. And secondly, like, I don't think any of them like even if the Switch fell out, like most of them are on ground level. The only one that's not is the backpack, but that's actually in docked mode when you're using that, because it's on the TV. So I mean, even if things fell out, they're like a couple inches off the ground. So I mean, how much damage could that really do?
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen Switch drop test. They drop it like from standing height, like 10 times on concrete. Like the thing's fine. So I mean, the Switch itself is sturdy. It's not, even if it did fall, it's not falling from that great of a height anyways. And I mean, this is clearly something that most of the time requires adult supervision. I mean, even if when it's all the way built, I mean, I think most parents are going to want to watch over it to make sure, as people like are saying in the comments, like it's $80. Most parents are not going to be like, oh yeah, just go play with it. No, it's so. Yeah. It just doesn't. Like, I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo's gonna. You go, Chris. Go ahead.
Even if the stuff did fall out from the Labo kit, it all depends on what surface you're on. If you're on a carpet, it won't do much damage. But if you're on something that's hard like a marble or concrete floor, as Brandon mentioned, it will do a lot of damage.
Yeah. So actually, apparently, Kimishima is saying that it's like a 3D moving model. Like the actual tutorial is on the Switch itself. So that's the thing, okay? Where's my Switch? Okay.
Oh,
I'm taking this off. I'm taking off the Joy-Cons. Don't worry about it. I got it here. So look, okay? Can you imagine? Oh, by the way, look at my back. Isn't it awesome? Anyways, like,
oh, nice.
A kid's gonna hold it around like this. Yeah. Right? A kid's gonna be holding it around like this, moving around the house. Oh, mom, blah, blah, blah. Drop it inside the mug, or like throw it, toss it. I can just see that it's gonna happen. There are switches that are gonna break. Maybe it won't be a million, but you know.
That's kind of a thing just for the Switch in general. I mean, it's a portable device. Kids are gonna be running around with it, playing games anyway, so this is no different. I mean, running around playing a game or running around doing instructions, like it's same thing.
I just think that there are going to be parents who aren't gamers, right, who are going to get the Switch and this cardboard sets for their kids, and because the Nintendo Labo is literally geared towards an even younger audience. Like, yes, if you're 10, you're going to want it. Yes, if you're 15, you may want it. Yes, if you're 26, you're going to want it, right? But there are going to be 5-year-olds that are going to be getting this as well, and I just think that there is going to be there are going to be more Switches breaking because of this. And maybe Nintendo knows this. Maybe Nintendo wants this to happen, because what happens when the Switches break? Maybe another one, they buy more. You know, or maybe they call Nintendo like, hey, what happened?
If you pay $300 for a system and then you pay $80 for this cardboard, $70-80, I mean, you should. If you have young children, you're probably gonna watch them anyways. Like, I don't let my brothers play the Switch outside the dock unless I'm watching them, and they have to be over carpet, like right on the ground. Like, I am careful. So I mean, if you're just letting your like 4 or 5-year-old kid run around with a $300 system plus $80 worth of cardboard, that's kind of your own dumb fault if it breaks.
Yeah. Basically, I think that there's gonna be an increased market for protective Switch gear. That's all I'm saying. There's gonna be increased market for that. Like,
that's gonna be the case.
Like maybe like rubber cases, like what's on my phone, but for a Switch. You know, I don't think there are rubber cases like for, you know, like how phones have protective cases. They should have cases like that for the Switch. I don't think there is really too much of that right now, but that may become a thing in the future. After all, it is technically like a tablet.
It might make it harder to dock. Like, if there's rubber on the bottom, it might be...
I guess that depends how it's constructed, right?
Oh, yeah. I feel like the Switch's design is like way too...
flimsy?
Sized, I guess you could say. In which any little third-party accessory would kind of ruin the overall feel.
Because, I mean, when you throw it into the dock, it's like this much that's actually plugged into. So if you have like a very thin rubber case, it probably won't connect enough to get a stable connection. So that could be an issue. So I think there's probably ways they can try to work around that, but it's something to think about for those kind of protective cases.
Okay. Well, it seems that I'm in the minority here. So I'm gonna take the L. I'm taking the L, guys. Okay. Maybe it's not that big of a deal, and if this issue I'm bringing up about kids breaking switches, playing Nintendo Labo, it's just not that big of a deal. So I'm taking the L, but we'll see what happens when those reports come out. So stay tuned. So are there any questions about Nintendo Labo? We're still gonna talk about Nintendo Labo, but I think it's gonna like subsets. Is there anything else before we kind of move on with the topics here?
Nothing for me.
I'm good.
I just wanted to say real quick, I do agree that it's gonna happen, but I do think like the vast majority of people know. My little brother, my phone, like he just slams it on the ground as hard as he can, so I'm definitely not giving him my Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Good call.
90% of people know that.
Yeah.
That's all.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
if I could suggest, if your brother's going to treat your stuff like that, it's best you just keep your things out of his reach.
Yeah, that's how a lot of people are going to be with Labo.
That's a very logical assessment, Chris. Yeah. So, shout out to VC Online 9.8. How you doing, man? So,
Welcome to the stream.
yeah. Now, let's kind of move down the topics a little bit here, okay? And if anyone has any questions, let me put them in the comments, and I will try to get to them. All right, we'll get to them. So I just want to move on down the topics. So there's been this rumor going around. The Retro Studios, the developer behind the Metroid Prime trilogy, behind Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze, that they have been working on a non-gaming experience, a new way to play. Sounds a lot like Nintendo Labo. Now, I don't think it's been confirmed yet, but we have not gotten an actual confirmation of who's been developing the software for Nintendo Labo. And this rumor is not a good rumor for me personally. I think it's a terrible rumor because it suggests that Retro Studios has been working on Nintendo Labo this whole time instead of making something really, really awesome. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that this rumor is true? Do you think Retro Studios has been working on a non-gaming experience? And if so, is it Nintendo Labo? And whether it's Nintendo Labo or something else altogether, does that mean that they have not been working on an all-new game as well? What do you guys think?
I don't think this is Nintendo Labo. I don't think that's what they're working on. I feel like if it was, we'd see some kind of Retro would have said something. Nintendo would have mentioned it. On their site, they would have mentioned Retro in some way. I've been on their site. There's absolutely no mention of Retro owning anything on it. So I feel like there'd be some kind of trademark or like made by Retro. I mean, you can see they have the game cases and different things that you can see pictures of them. No mention of Retro anywhere on their site or anything like that. So I don't think it's Nintendo Labo, but I don't know. Have they ever made something non-gaming? Also, Nintendo Labo isn't exactly non-gaming anyways. But have they ever made anything non-gaming before? Like, I don't really know their history too well besides Donkey Kong and Metroid. Like, what else have they done?
Well, before that, the Retro Studios was not Retro Studios. They were Iguana Entertainment, if I remember correctly, the exact name. Basically, they made the Turok games before. They weren't even owned by Nintendo. That's the extent of my knowledge on their history. They were the Turok developer in the 90s.
Sorry about that. My Wi-Fi was acting up.
Oh,
okay.
You're good, bro. You're good.
Yeah, so they have a very extensive, hardcore kind of, like, every game they've made, even before they were Retro Studios, was a very core, difficult, challenging, like, tight kind of game, like Turok, you know? Back then, Turok was good. Back then, Turok was one of the premier, like, first-person shooter adventure games on the N64. And that game was intense and scary. It was rated M, like, you know, it wasn't very Nintendo, quote-unquote, right? And after that, Retro Studios became a part of Nintendo, right? And they started making Metroid Prime. They were working on a whole bunch of other games, but eventually all of that just equated to Metroid Prime. And we all know Metroid Prime is pretty intense, pretty scary, very fast-paced, very challenging. Like, it's just not... It's the opposite of casual. And the same can be said for Donkey Kong Country. That Returns and Tropical Freeze, in terms of 2D platformers, they are some of the hardest that are out there. So, yeah, Retro Studios has actually been pretty anti-casual. And when we hear rumors of them making a non-gaming experience, that sounds like the opposite of that. At least in our experience, it has been a non-gaming or new way to play. That's the thing about rumors. Like, what do they really mean? A new way to play, right, or non-gaming experience? It doesn't really make sense to me personally. I'm not sure if I even believe the rumor. It just doesn't really seem to add up to me.
If Nintendo were to put out a second casual appeal, I feel like they would cannibalize each other.
Yeah, I don't know. Nicholas Romero says apparently that they've been hiring people with experience with game development for the past couple of years. So that kind of counterintuitive to that. I've actually noticed that myself. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I believe Nintendo did say Retro was big enough to work on 2 games at once. So, I mean, it's possible that they're working on something that works with Nintendo Labo and another game. Maybe there was a gun shown off that's not available to purchase yet in a pack. So maybe they have some kind of shooter that works with Nintendo Labo. I don't know. That could be happening. It'd be kind of crazy if Metroid Prime 4 worked with that accessory, like, as an option. Just saying that as an idea. I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just saying it could happen. So, I mean, it's kind of possible, but, I mean, they don't really have experience even doing, like, casual games, much less something casual that's non-gaming. Like, they don't... I don't think they really have the experience for that. They're not the type of company I would see.
All right, hold on. I want to do some... I went into the fact check because Entertainment Gaming Daily is saying that Retro didn't do Turok. That's Acclaim Entertainment. Retro joined Nintendo in 1998, and in 2002 they did Metroid Prime. That's not false, but let me explain, though. What I said was actually true, okay? So the thing is, before Retro Studios is Retro Studios... What became a part of that was an alliance between Nintendo and the former Iguana Entertainment, which was the developer who made Turok in the 90s. So Iguana Entertainment, a big part of that company, became Retro Studios. Okay, when they started working with Nintendo, it changed. But a part of that team did work with Turok under Iguana Entertainment. And they may have been published by Acclaim. I'm not 100% sure about that part. But, yeah.
They were published by Acclaim.
So, yeah. Iguana Entertainment was a part of did make Turok. They did become... A lot of them did move on to becoming Retro Studios. So what I said wasn't wrong. But, so perfect clear. So we're entirely clear here. Retro never worked on Turok, but a big part of that team was part of a previous company that did work on Turok. So now we know.
So they worked with Acclaim Entertainment? Is that why they got confused?
I believe Acclaim Entertainment was the publisher.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And Iguana Entertainment was a developer.
Yeah. A lot of projects have several different... There's like, I mean, the Pokemon Company, they have Game Freak. They have, like, several different subsets, so it's probably something similar to that. And there's lots of games where they hire, different developing teams to work on a single game, and some they'll just have different roles. So that's probably what
Acclaim. Actually, I'm looking at it now. Iguana and Acclaim were 2 different teams. During its 13-year history, Iguana Entertainment developed many games under both the Iguana Entertainment name and the Acclaim Studios Austin name.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I'm gonna look up the publisher for Turok. Developed by Iguana Entertainment, published by Acclaim Entertainment. So that's the thing with publishers and developers. They say it's kind of hard. Like, it seems like a blurred line sometimes, but yeah, Turok was developed by Iguana Entertainment, but they've worked closely with Acclaim Entertainment, and they are the publisher. So you can Google Turok wiki, and it'll show you. So
I'm already on there.
Yeah. Now, but just kind of getting back to the point, though, I don't... What do you guys, just kind of getting back to where we were, what do you guys think? Do you think this rumor is just not true? Doesn't make any sense. Nicholas Romero kind of seems to think that there's just too many valid points that go against this rumor. It seems false to him.
Yeah. And it just goes against their nature and their history anyway, so yeah, it's probably not true.
The rumor is false. I I don't like the rumor, but at least it gets something that people can talk about.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't see a way for it to be true. I mean, it could happen, but it just seems to go against everything Retro's ever done. And, I mean, it doesn't seem like a Retro thing to do. Like, it just doesn't make any sense why they would do that.
Yeah.
I mean, when they could be making something, for the core market that, they've been involved in a lot of series that are, high-tier series, Metroid and Donkey Kong. I mean, they're not like some low-tier company, so I don't see why they would abandon making these kinds of experiences to go like make Nintendo Labo. When, I mean, that just seems like more of a inside Nintendo kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't think Nintendo would let them either. I think Nintendo knows. Knows.
The only game that Retro's, well, but aside from Donkey Kong and what was the other one?
Metroid.
Well, aside from Donkey Kong and Metroid, Retro also helped Nintendo develop Mario Kart 7 for the Nintendo 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they develop Mario Strikers for the GameCube as well?
Which one? You mean Super Mario Strikers?
Mario Strikers, yeah.
Yeah. I looked up one more thing based off the whole Turok Guan Entertainment
games.
Acclaim thing for extra clarity, because there's been some debate here. I just want to completely nip in the bud. I just looked up everything. Okay, so the reason why there's confusion, okay, is because one, Turok was developed by Guan Entertainment, which a lot of that team went on to go forward start working with Nintendo as Retro Studios in the future. However, Turok was also published by Acclaim, and Acclaim both publishes and develops. So they're both a developer and a publisher. So just that is kind of how it all is, very roughly. I think I should probably make some sort of video clarifying differences between publishers, developers, second party, first party, and third party. It's all a mess, if you don't really look into all the details. But yeah, making you confused.
I feel like even the ones that know rarely know.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing. Visi Online 9.8U. I was actually asking Nicholas Romero, but I am also an F-Zero fan. I don't think Retro is working on some non-gaming experience. I don't think so. Unless this non-gaming experience is a peripheral that sort of adds to an F-Zero experience. That's what I think. I think maybe F-Zero is the game that Retro Studios is working on. I think they have to be... Oh, look, the Retro Studios music, the F-Zero music started cycling back right when I'm starting to make this point. I think Retro Studios is working on F-Zero. That's what I think. I don't think they're working on some casual experience. I think they're working on F-Zero. I think they got experience with the Mario Kart 7 team with learning how racing games work. I think that they need to bring back a franchise. It's not Donkey Kong. It's not Metroid. That leaves a lot. There's still other options, but I think F-Zero is a good fit. It's just kind of my own gut feeling here. But it's about time to get an F-Zero game, and Retro Studios hasn't announced their game. So,
Reggie was talking that smack last year. Like, he was like, "Oh, ask me a year from now about some IP that you want to resurrect and stuff." So
yeah,
big game.
We really need another F-Zero title.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I think this is definitely something that it seems very retro. I mean, they're a company that's known for pretty much working on like some pretty tough games. And F-Zero is one of the tougher racing games out there. I mean, it's known to be pretty hardcore and just a hard game. And that seems like Retro's motif. That's their MO. That's what they love to do. They love to make hard games. And as you were saying, Andres, they got experience making racing games with Mario Kart 7, helping out that team. So I definitely think it's possible. And I think a lot of people have been asking for F-Zero to come back. That's not like even a vocal minority. That seems to be like among Nintendo fans, that's one of the bigger IPs people want to be brought back. So I definitely think it's possible. It seems like something Retro Studios would make, and it seems like a lot of people are asking for that. So I would not be surprised if they were working on a new F-Zero game. Maybe we could even get an announcement at E3 or maybe in a direct before then. Who knows?
Yeah,
We'll just have to wait.
I agree. It's gonna.
Yeah. No, I'm I'm just looking up all this information. Entertainment Daily just said that Retro was founded in 1998 as an alliance between Nintendo and former Iguana Entertainment founder Jeff Spangenberg. I was under the impression that, yeah, that happened, but he did bring some people with him. I'm looking up for actual quotes on that, but I can't bring it up. So, let's just... It may have just been that one lead guy, but that one lead guy had a lot of directional output there. So, no, it's okay. I just, I do want to be clear and not get information wrong, but regardless if there was a whole staff or not, I think the point still stands that a lot of the creative output, the directional lead that came from Turok went into the work that came into Metroid Prime from, that led Retro Studios. So... yeah, but I'm not sure how many members actually left. It may have just been one of the lead guys, which is a big part of the creative, outlook there. But, it's cool, man. It's just all about getting the information correct. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We just don't want to be giving out, fake news or anything.
Right, exactly. So that's the thing. I'm just kind of making sure that all the information there is correct because there's a lot of different information out there, so... But, yeah. I think it's F-Zero. Just getting back to the point. I think it's F-Zero. I don't think it's something casual. I don't know what it would be. It doesn't make any sense.
It's F-Zero.
Yeah.
I hope it's F-Zero.
I mean, if I
The
had
last
to...
F-Zero title I play with.
There are so many things it could be. I mean, realistically speaking, it could be so many things. It may not even be a game, which would hurt my feelings. But,
I don't even
it might not be.
Yeah,
that this rumor could be true.
I just don't want to... right there.
Yeah.
Retro's made some amazing games. I mean, the Metroid Prime trilogy is absolutely incredible. It's super highly acclaimed. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, my favorite 2D platformer of all time. So to think of them not making a game, it would be super disappointing because they're a really, really good company. So.
They are.
I mean, we went over their history. Like, they make, like, awesome core games. Like, I just don't see them not making a gaming experience. That would just be so weird.
Yeah.
Now, one possibility, it's just, speculation, right? Like, what if what they're working on is hardware on top of a game, and maybe what they're doing is looking into Nintendo's VR experience, right? And maybe, because they have experience in the first-person perspective, and a lot of VR is in the first-person perspective, what if they're working with Nintendo behind the scenes for something that's not planned anytime soon, and they're trying to get a good VR experience going? Maybe that's how they have them working on that hardware, trying to figure out a way to create a really quality VR experience, without it being distracting and making people feel dizzy. That's a possibility. I think it would make sense, and it wouldn't be completely out of nowhere, right? It's not like, oh, Retro Studios, you're good at making really challenging games that are, for like really hardcore gamers. Let's have you make the next Wii Sports. Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But them working on a first-person VR experience, like with the hardware, because they have experience with Metroid Prime, and trying to make it fluid, and feel natural and not make people feel dizzy, that, in my mind at least, would fit the bill as a non-gaming experience, right? Hardware, but they're trying to cater it towards hardcore games so they can be fluid and work in the future. That makes sense to me. I don't know. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, right?
That's just straight.
Could be making... Yeah, they could definitely be working on VR.
But it's not something that's going to be shown off anytime soon. Like Nintendo said, we're looking into, like, it's just something behind the scenes.
Yeah.
If they were working... Oh, go on.
Oh, I was just going to say, like, it definitely goes against some of their ethics. Unless they were just trolling, like, sometimes they do. It's definitely a possibility. Talk about 4K and VR, they usually just say stuff like, no one knows about it and it's way too expensive, so... But like a loss, and Nintendo never got a loss, so
yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't think it's that likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's always the possibility that they're saying that just to cover it up. I can't remember exactly what it was, but there was something recently that they said they were not doing, and then they actually totally did do it. I'd be a lot better if I could remember what it was. It was something actually significant, like a game they said they weren't making or something they weren't planning to do, and then they just up and did it like a couple months later. So you never know with Nintendo. They'll probably be like, "Oh, we're definitely not working as VR on our big E3 announcement. No, for sure not working on 4K."
Paid online, never
And
heard
then
of
just
it.
like up and announce it.
Nintendo can be wishy-washy sometimes.
Yeah,
Well, it's not even just
Never heard of paid
Nintendo. It's just companies in general. When PR has to speak, okay, so it's kind of one of those things where like sometimes PR doesn't even know what the hell's going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they just know maybe the next like 6 months or something. Like they know the release schedule of games, the release schedule of hardware, maybe right for the fiscal year. Maybe that's all they know, and they just have an idea of it, and that's it. That's all a PR guy is going to really know. They're not going to know what Nintendo's working on with their R&D, like what's deep and down, what they're researching on, what they're testing on. Because the thing is, there's so many different things they are testing and designing and figuring things out, and just kind of pulling and picking different assets from different places. It's there's no way a PR guy is going to know everything that's going on.
That's definitely a possibility, actually.
So a PR guy says one thing.
To keep their lips sealed.
Yeah. So a PR guy may say one thing, but they're only saying based off what they know. So in the future, which could be 4 or 5 months in the future, all of a sudden, hey, this is real. And it's not because a PR guy was lying, it's because a PR guy doesn't know. And sometimes I think they do have to lie. Yeah. That's the other possibility. Sometimes they just can't. They know they can't announce it yet. So
yeah, their job is to literally tell you. Just to appease people without actually telling you anything. That's their goal. They want to appease the consumers without actually giving them any information. Because, I mean, what company is just like, oh, you asked me a question. I'm going to tell you all our secrets for everything we're doing in the next, forever. I think any surprises.
I think literally the best we've ever gotten was when Reggie was asked about Mother. He was asked about a Mother 3 localization
and a Metroid.
Oh, you mean Earthbound?
No, he was not asked about Metroid. He was asked about the Mother 3 localization, and he said, "Look, come to me in a year, and then we'll talk about Metroid, and then we'll talk about Mother 3." He brought up Metroid.
Yeah, it was a response to both.
He brought up Metroid.
But he said that people were asking about Metroid as well.
Right. In that interview, he was not asked about Metroid. He brought up Metroid. And there was... So I don't know what happened behind the scenes with other people, but there hadn't been any big local interviews that went live that were about Metroid within the last, couple days, okay? Like, the last time he was interviewed by Metroid was months.
It was just people on the show floor asking.
Right. So... what I'm saying is, he brought that up in that interview, he suggested something, and sure enough, within a year, what happened? We got an announcement for 2 Metroid games. So, that's...
And still no Mother 3?
From what no Mother 3, not yet, but that's pretty much...
Of course not.
But I think that's it. I can't think of a time where a PR guy really just, blew the lid,
Yeah.
Oh well, there was that event where Square said Final Fantasy 15. Exactly. No, they said Final Fantasy 7 remake. No. What was it? I'm trying to remember. It's been a few months.
It was 15.
I don't know.
No, it was not 15. I don't think it was 15. Man, it's been so long.
It was
Whatever it was, it may have been just Dragon Quest. I think it was Dragon Quest actually.
Oh yeah, it was Dragon Quest.
It was Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest Builder.
Right. No, not Builders. Dragon Quest 10.
No, he didn't build it, Liz.
There was a conference, they said that Dragon Quest... See Entertainment Gaming Daily.
They were like... They said, they teased it, and then they said, oh, no, we don't have any plans for it. And then, when you have it, it's coming out this year for the Switch. In the same capacity as, the PS4 version.
Before the new Switch they were talking about a Square Enix game coming to... NX, and I think it was Dragon Quest. And then they had to backtrack and say, oh, no, there's nothing confirmed for the NX yet. But that, So, I mean, it happens sometimes, but, it's...
Yeah, okay.
Psyonix also said that Rocket League had no plans to come in, that E3 of it and everything.
Rocket League is
You can't really listen to PR guys. like
Yeah,
at all.
their job is to lie to you. Their job is to spew random facts to distract you from
paid.
the actual question.